solution here is probably a district, but with some serious guidelines that protect the business owners. Now, that's not where the conversation is right now, which is why we're so sort of vehemently sort of asking for help here to get the process into that kind of place, because it's not there.
Sure. So we're at the end of time. It sounds like
Is it possible that I can request an extension so that the business owners that are here, that they can?
That's exactly what I was about to suggest. So
Okay.
just to get a sense of how many folks it is. If you just raise your hand if you want to speak to that. Is it just one person? Two.
And
Oh.
the manager, sure.
Got it. So if there's no objections, why don't we extend for 3 minutes, 1 minute for each of you, and then for Commissioner Lewis to give us a recommendation? Does that work? Sir.
I had a long speech, but I'll make it short. I didn't realize it was so small. I wholeheartedly agree with Commissioner Lewis. I am one of the small owners that she's talking about who weren't notified about any of this. I attended the meeting here on September 7th by the DC Preservation League. They had no answers for us. They couldn't answer any of my questions about why they're doing this, who's this supposed to benefit at all. They couldn't answer that. They were completely blank on all the answers, on all the questions I was asking. In the end, I know the result of this designation would be detrimental to myself, my tenants, the owner-operators, and the fact that it was just given to us a couple of weeks ago, and there's this forever vote happening next week is absolutely absurd to me. And we ask for the support of the ANC to do whatever you can to postpone this so we can start talking about it. Big owners, small owners like myself, we cannot seem to survive. If this happens to us, our tenants are gone. I mean, we are destroyed.
Sir?
Sir, green shirt.
I'm in concurrence.
Thank you, sir. And Commissioner Lewis, any other final thoughts?
My final thought
Or
is
suggestions?
just a summary that we should support the extension because we need it, and also I think it's key that we have the backup letter, because I feel as if 6C, because even if you read the newspaper articles that are out, they're contacting them versus us. You know, we need to protect the residents that are here and have their voices heard versus having someone else make a decision for us.
With that, if there's no further discussion, would you like Commissioner Lewis?
So you want to postpone the letter and then a backup letter saying we're opposed to this designation of this
Yes.
district?
Yes.
And you're here you're a proponent for it?
We're requesting that the ANC, we've already made the request for postponement, and we're requesting now the ANC support our request for postponement.
No, but I'm saying, are you a proponent for the historic district or are you against it?
Well, that's sort of my point is I think that I could be a proponent for it if there were guidelines and things that address our concerns, but right now, there's nothing.
Okay.
So it's
And
hard
that's
to,
better.
yeah.
And so will you be expanding this area here? It's kind of, when I look at the market, I look at the total market.
Right,
This doesn't include the total market.
correct.
So would that be expanding this area to include the total market? Because that was the reason why I asked a question about this big building on Florida Avenue. Because you want a historical district, and then
Right.
we got this big hotel apartment building coming up on Florida Avenue, which is right up against the Union. Where's the picture here? It's right up against the Union Market sign.
Right.
It's going to be right in front of this, so you won't see this
Right, so
with that building.
And
Well, that's exactly sort of the point, which is, like, the plan you have is what the applicant, which is a nonprofit group in DC that filed the historic designation, proposes as the district. Now, whether that's the right line or not, I think there needs to be discussion about that. Like, that's sort of the point. It's like, what are the goals? What are they trying to achieve through that designate? There's like all this stuff, and I wanted to try to sort of stay out of the merits of the designation or not, but like there's different kinds of designations. There's a district, right, which has a certain implication and usually has guidelines with it, and then there's a landmark, right, which has a whole host of other sort of set of requirements that go with it, and as you know, and so it's really having the opportunity to like understand what those differences
That's a reasonable
are,
request.
and then,
It's a reasonable request.
see where we end up as a community.
And I know we put Mr. Kaufman in the hot seat with that question, but from the entire time he's been in the Union Market, he has thought strategically in preserving the market in a way that enhances it. So I can't say we're not looking to what's the word I'm looking for? That we're not preserving the character that's already there, because we have been working on that systematically. But this whole process is moving way too quickly, and it has forever implications if we rush into it.
Commissioner Lewis, one quick question. So, I happened to see Director Shaw last night, and I happened to ask him about this, and he said, well, you all did get your 45 days notice. I hear and I agree with your point that there's not been real engagement on this. I completely agree about that. I'm just thinking ahead to, if we do decide to send that second letter of opposition, what's our rationale? Are we just asking for more time, or are there specific reasons that you want to see included?
We want to actually determine what level of designation we want. That's the big thing. We want all of the business owners down there to be comfortable with whatever we decide.
So it's more about input on which type of designation.
Quick process issue.
I was going to say, that it seems like that you would want to, given that they're asking to move forward with the preservation, like whenever we get an ANC letter, it's like you would say, we oppose it for these reasons, and we're requesting to get additional time to get community feedback.
I don't want to say I oppose the whole process, because I actually am a supporter of historical designation. So I don't want to say I oppose it. I do, however, oppose them pushing down our throat what it is. Because I'm fighting very hard for my little tavern to stay historic. So no, I want historic designation, but I want to be clear in what it includes. So that's why I'm a little bit scared to send a full opposition letter.
If there's no further discussion, Commissioner Lewis, if you want to go ahead and put forward a motion,
Okay.
just to restate it.
We're putting the motion on the floor to extend the deadline for discussion of historic designation for the market area. And that's the first one.
First letter.
Yes.
So, putting forward a letter to request an extension of the deadline of the hearing.
And true engagement.
Is there a second?
A second.
We moved and seconded, and
Friendly amendment.
Commissioner Henderson.
It doesn't make sense to send two letters. Both thoughts can be incorporated into one concise letter. The goal is to make it clear to the board that the community has not been engaged in this process, and we need to be heard, and that can simply be stated. You don't need two separate letters for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna, we're fine with that, though. We're fine. What we didn't wanna, the only thing that we don't wanna happen is for them to deny the request for postponement and
Just
then.
add the two thoughts.
Right, and then have nothing to sort of say to the commission from the.
We respectfully request an opportunity for the community to be heard in this matter. In the event that HPRB denies that request, which I don't think they will, but if they do, then we oppose it. That's very simple. Will you accept the amendment, Commissioner?
I don't know if I want to go out on the limb and say I oppose historic designation. That's the only catch with that.
Now, why would you support a second letter? You're doing the same thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, I agree with Commissioner Lewis. It should be two letters. Cause just like you said, she don't want saying that she disagreed with the whole thing. So I feel it should be two letters.
Is that what you're saying with the second letter?
Well, can I
But
ask
we
you-
might only submit the second letter if we don't. We're not going to mail them together. It's if they say no, then the second letter will
So
go.
you asking for a backup letter?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's two letters.
But if the hearing, but they would deny that request presumably at their hearing on the 22nd. So if,
Oh.
right, so if they do that and they deny the request, now the ANC has no opportunity for great weight. That might
Okay,
be-
so then put the letters together and I'll make sure I'll be at that hearing. I'll just make sure I'm at the hearing.
I don't, like, it's so confusing, I don't wanna make it any
No,
more
one
confusing,
letter's
so-
fine, and I'll make sure I clear my
It should be
calendar
up to-
that
It
day.
should be up to Commissioner Lewis.
Correct.
This is in her single
Correct.
district. If she want 2 letters, then 2 letters should be done. It's in her area.
So Commissioner Lewis, are you 1 letter or 2 letters?
We can do one letter because
So you
it,
accept the amendment?
yes, I accept the
Thank you.
amendment.
Alright,
Move
so moved, I believe. Commissioner Anderson, would you like to resecond just to wrap that up? Restate the motion?
Well, she already said she
Commissioner
accepted the
Lewis,
friendly
could
amendment.
you state, it's in your single member district, so you need to be in control of this, cause it's in your single member district.
Okay, I put the
Please.
motion on the board that we request an extension for the historic designation of the market area with the decision to oppose the entire application if, the extension is not allowed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, is there any further discussion? All for the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes unanimously.
You
Can
should,
I
but
just, and I'm sorry, this is number 12?
Oh,
We're going back.
Can I just real quick,
We amended.
he has one question.
I just wanna like make an announcement, thank you so much for that, but we'd like to hold a couple of stakeholder meetings for this conversation, so that it can get started, even though we're sort of doing it, we're going out on a limb on it, and so we will coordinate through the ANC, through Commissioner Lewis, to communicate when those meetings are, and, you know, make sure that anyone who wants to sort of be a part of it will be there, and hopefully, you know, it will turn into engagement from the group, you know, the HPO, and HPRB, and all those other groups.
Mr. Coppin, we're going to include the entire commission, we're happy to do that.
Absolutely, thank you.
if I
All right,
may,
so-
just quickly, Mr. Chairman, I wanna make sure that I acknowledge the work that Eden's Development is doing with, Commissioner Lewis. That level of engagement should be replicated, throughout our city. And I wanna make sure that we continue to keep the line of communication open, so keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
They are great.
We're gonna go ahead, so for those, that walked in late, we made some changes to the agenda, so we just finished items number 14, 15, and 16. We're now going back to our regularly scheduled program, which is item number 12.
Yes, please.
So item number 12, this is a, I'm gonna go ahead and present this on behalf of Commissioner Bugs. This is a community settlement agreement that Commissioner Bugs has drafted with the Rights Market and Trinidad Market. The full agreement as it is in draft form is in your packet. It's pages 10 through 15. It's pages 10 through 15. This was shared by Commissioner Bugs to the commission several times. It was shared with the audience that was here at our last meeting as well. But we didn't have representation from the market. I understand Mr. Mel was here from that market tonight. So with that, I'll just go ahead and, Mr. Mel, is there anything you'd like to briefly present on?
Just for the